Unit 3, Lesson 3. Unit 3, Lesson 3, Activity 1. It's 2:30 p.m. and the group are on a Thames cruise.
The London Eye is the highest wheel in the world. It's 140 metres high.
That's terrific. I'd love to go for a ride.
Carlos, Rowand, let me take a picture of you. Smile!
Oh no! My cap! Ah!
Ben! Help!
We were passing the London Eye and suddenly Ben fell into the river.
But why? What was he doing?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at Ben.
What were you doing?
I was listening to Greg. He was telling us about the wheel.
And Lana was taking photos of me and Rowand.
And then what happened?
Greg threw Ben a lifebelt and pulled him out of the water.
Was Ben feeling all right?
Yes, he was. He was shivering, but he was laughing.
We were all laughing.
Lesson 3, Activity 4.
You know, my brother Tom fell overboard last year.
Really? What happened? What was he doing?
He was sailing with a friend off the coast of Australia. At first, it was a beautiful day and the sun was shining. But then the weather suddenly got worse and there was a terrible storm. They were sailing in a small boat and they knew it was very dangerous.
Yeah, sure.
So Tom called the emergency number on his mobile phone. They were sailing back when the boat hit a rock and they both fell into the sea.
Oh no!
And then the boat started to sink.
What happened?
A helicopter rescued them.
Were they both okay?
Yes, they were. It was a lucky escape. But my brother lost his mobile
3,
phone.
Lesson 4, Activity 4.
Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was born on the 7th of February 1812 in Portsmouth, on the south coast of England. In 1823, the Dickens family moved to London, but his father lost his job, and the family had no money. Charles left school in 1824, and when he was only 12 years old, he started working in a factory. But things became easier. In 1833, Dickens started writing stories for newspapers, and in 1836 he wrote his first novel, The Pickwick Papers. In the same year, he married Catherine Hogarth, and they later had 10 children. Between 1836 and 1865, Dickens wrote 14 major novels, including Oliver Twist and David Copperfield. His novels were extremely successful, and he became the most popular writer in the country. He also wrote lots of stories, including A Christmas Carol. Dickens had enormous energy and worked extremely hard at everything he did. He died suddenly on the 9th of June 1870 at the age of 58. He was the most popular English writer of the 19th century. Today, 130 years later, his books are still bestsellers, and there are many films
Unit
of
3,
his novels.
Review. Unit 3, Review, Activity 4.
8 a.m. What were you doing at 8 a.m?
I was getting up.
9:30 a.m. What were you doing at 9:30 a.m?
I was making phone calls.
10:30 a.m. What were you doing at 10:30 a.m?
I was filming the group.
12:15 p.m. What were you doing at 12:15 p.m?
I was having lunch.
1 p.m. What were you doing at 1 p.m?
I was talking to Greg.
Unit 4. Unit 4, Lesson 1. Unit 4, Lesson 1, Activity 1.
Welcome to the YTV studios. Now, let me tell you what we're going to do today.
Oh, we're going to be here all day.
Well, not all day, Carol. Now, first we're going to have a tour of the studios and then we're going to watch a rehearsal of Our World.
Kate, what's Our World?
It's a documentary, Sally. It's about the world we live in. Different countries, music, animals, everything really.
Wow! How do you make a documentary? I mean, documentaries are real life. How can you rehearse real life?
Well, we rehearse some of it in the studio, the interviews and so on. Next, after lunch, you're going to meet Dan. He's the presenter of Our World. He's going to talk to us, and you never know, there might be a surprise for you all.
What surprise?
I'm not going to tell you. Wait and see.
Lesson 1. Activity 3.
Now, listen, everyone. It's 1 o'clock now. This is what we're going to do this afternoon. First, in half an hour, we're going to watch the recording of the studio shots of Our World. You're going to see Dan present the show and do the interviews. Please don't make a sound. Be very quiet. This episode of Our World is about Mount Everest. After that, at 3 o'clock, we're going to show you some of the film that we made on location at Everest. Then, at 4:30, I want you to think about your plans for your documentary. Dan and I are going to be here at 5:15, so you can come and talk to us. And this evening at 7:30, you're going to be in the audience when we film a TV quiz.
Lesson 1. Activity 5.
First. Worst. Friend. Send. Here. Year. Make. Break. Mine. Sign. Soap. Hope. Tour. Shore. Wait.
Unit 4, Lesson
Great.
2. Unit 4, Lesson 2, Activity 1.
So, Lana and Rowand, what are your plans? What do you want to do for your Kurdish part of the documentary?
Well, we talked about it after lunch, and maybe we're going to do something about Zachariah.
Who's Zachariah?
Don't you know him? He's a musician. He writes songs. He's very famous in Kurdistan.
Good! That's a great idea. Have you got all the information about him?
No, but I know. I'll check his website.
And I'll email my sister. She did a project on Zachariah last year at school. No, I won't email her. I'll phone her. That'll be quicker.
And we'll find some of his CDs. I've got some of his music at the hotel.
Will you be able to get the information in time?
Yes, we'll start now.
It sounds great. Now I'll interview you about Zachariah and we'll play some of his music at the same time.
OK,
Unit 4,
let's do that.
Lesson 2, Activity 3.
Hello, Kate. I thought about my programme after lunch, and I know what I want to do. Can Dan interview me? I'll tell him about my city, York, and he can ask about my friends and my family. I'll tell him about being a teenager in the north of England. I'll make a good programme, I promise.
Unit 4,
Carol.
Lesson 2, Activity 4.
Will. Live. Fit. It. Sit. Tin. Fill. Wheel. Leave. Feet. Eat. Seat. Teen. Feel. Will. Leave. Fit. It. Seat. Tin. feel.